17,000 dirham and 110,000 Canadian dollars. It's the same after tax. He would be paying, I think, at least 35% or more.
I think 35,000. Yes,
Yes.
35% tax.
Let's calculate it right now. It's
Mm.
around $5,800. It's 15,700 dirhams, which is
Okay.
less than what he's getting here.
That reminds me, one of the difference between UK and Canada I noticed was in UK it's still the state provided healthcare, but if you have private insurance from your employer, you can actually go privately.
So I told them that if you don't have kids, there is no brainer that you should come to Dubai. I know of for a person who was getting 17,000 dirhams per month salary and went to
Which is very low
110,
end.
one or two kids, 17,000 dirhams is still manageable.
On average, I know it's a very hypothetical question, but on average, if someone is coming with two kids, two, husband wife, um, how much they have to keep in mind in terms of the fixed cost that they have to bear, regardless what kind of job they get.
The flip side of that is, because you're sending the kids to a school which is expensive and you might not be able to afford it otherwise, just because your company is paying you, that is why you're sending the kids there. The kids coming to that school are also of that kind of social strata. I would definitely keep aside 30,000 dirhams per year, because there are other expenses
Yeah.
as well.
And that's per child, right? So
That's per
if you
child.
have,
Yes. A school can cost you 20,000 dirhams for, let's say, class 1, and the same school will cost you 35,000 dirhams for grade 12.
what we're going to discuss today is how the economic situation is changing in the Western world. The geopolitical crisis is also happening across the world. So a lot of people who have some decent net worth, they are considering an option B to move out and then go somewhere else. And Dubai has been one of those locations where a lot of people with high net worth people, they tend to move there and bring their capital along with them. Um, for various reasons. So we're going to discuss, why Dubai is one of those locations, why this country is attracting a lot of high net worth individuals, and then what are the opportunities for those people to go there, start business, or find a job. What's the process? All the pros and cons we're going to discuss in this video. So stay tuned, and I'll pass the ball to Wali to introduce yourself.
Hi, Yasin. Nice connecting to you again. And this is a very interesting topic. I talk about this a lot on my YouTube channel as well. So, just a quick introduction. Although we've done a lot of podcasts, so mostly your audience might be knowing about me, and also my audience would be knowing about you, because we collaborate a lot. So, I talk about personal finance on my channel. I talk about sometimes immigration as well. I talk about productivity and these kind of things. I'm based in Dubai, so I would be, and I've been here for last 15 years. So I think I have some understanding around this topic as well. So basically, as you said, Western economies are going through a turbulent time, and actually, not only Western economies, it's all over the world. Things are not as smooth as we have anticipated. In this region where Dubai is located, it's also not very stable. But still, Dubai has proven itself, or UAE as a wider country, has proven itself that they can go through these turbulent times in a very, uh, like you can say, stable manner. Since very long, since I have known this place, since the beginning, since childhood, we know one thing about Dubai is it is a tax-free haven. So whatever income that you're getting here is tax-free. So this is one of the one of the major attraction for anybody who's coming here. But it's not only that, because Dubai has proven itself to be a center stage as well, and talk about real estate, talk about any kind of investments, talk about entertainment, you name it. They are trying to be on top of everything, especially the things which are coming nowadays, like AI and these technology driven things. Dubai is on top of it. So of course, this is attracting a lot of professionals as well, a lot of people who are doing business abroad. So they are also thinking about moving to Dubai, just for the fact that there is no taxes. Uh, Ease of doing business is amazing. Like if you want to if you want to set up a business, it can be done within a couple of days, and maybe the full process can be done within a week. So this is something which is, of course, attracting a lot of talent as well. As you said that, and you talk about on your videos as well, that Dubai, like the places like Canada, let's say UK, they are going through a lot of inflation, a lot of high cost of living now. It's for a normal person, even with the good salary, which was assumed to be a good salary before, now feel a brunt of it, and they're unable to carry on their day-to-day life because of just, let's say, the shelter cost as well. Like, this is a major cost impact that is happening, the shelter cost. So
Right.
Dubai has, of course, Dubai has inflation as well, but at the same time, you don't have, let's say, the taxes. There are pros and cons. Of course, whenever you go somewhere, you talk about some places. There are pros and cons, and not everybody
Mhm.
is coming to Dubai and feel happy about it. We're going to talk about this, but this is
Yeah,
my introduction. This is my introduction to Dubai. Dubai is adding, let's say, 100,000 to 150,000 people every year, almost this number. So you can imagine the type of infrastructure requirement and upgradation of the infrastructure requirement, and then of course this leads to more jobs, more, let's say, people coming in. So this is all going on in Dubai right now, and from the Western perspective, the people of the West sometimes have a different kind of perception for Dubai. But I would say Dubai has built up a brand which is not easy to ignore now.
that's right. I think when while you were going through all these things, I think one of the major reason why people are looking to move is the higher taxes. As you've seen, the inflation is going across the world, especially in US and Canada and Europe. And because of that inflation, the government has run a lot of fiscal deficits, right? So huge fiscal deficit they have run. So that deficit needs to be paid back, and the only way they can pay back is basically raising taxes. So we're seeing, in the US, in UK, in Canada, the governments are raising taxes, left and right, which is also putting a lot of burden on the middle class families. And they used to have disposable income. Now that disposable income is being suppressed. So I think that's one of the reasons why people are thinking, okay, why we should be staying here while we have to pay every single hard-earned penny, to the government, where we're not getting, extra benefits or extra services. So I think that's one of the reasons why people are, especially the people who moved from South Asia, as an immigrant, who came here, in the last 10 years. Um, they are professionals, they're working, decent jobs, but they're now considering, okay, why we should stay here. Where pretty much 60% of our hard-earned money is going towards government taxes. So I think that's one of the reasons. So let's get into the agenda, Wali. So I think you mentioned about the how the Dubai is expanding and the immigrants are coming in. So in terms of economy, so what's your view in terms of the GDP growth? Because if the immigrants are coming, which of course they are bringing capital with them, so they're spending money that will drive the economy anyway. But because Dubai's economy is heavily dependent upon the oil and tourism, so what do you see how the economy is growing and how the government is reinvesting in terms of the infrastructure upgrades?
Yeah. So this is a misconcept. Still, after such a long time, still there is a misconcept that Dubai's economy is reliant on oil. It's not at all reliant on oil. It's hardly 5% or even less. The part of GDP is not much for oil. It's all about trade. It's all about investments. It's all about tourism. It's all about service industry, which they're aiming for. So it's all about different kind of pots now. They're building upon, basically. Tourism is one of them, and real estate is one of them as well. So people do invest from all over the world. People are investing in UAE's real estate, Dubai's real estate specifically. And tourism is of course something which is interlinked always. You've seen, so there is a benchmark when I talk about Dubai's tourism potential. So we've seen COVID, and how COVID was there, and then how it was tackled by the UAE over in general, and after that how it bounced back. So of course there was deflation at that time, because I can see the rents during that time went down, and people with the investments were worried about it. But as soon as the cubs were taken away, there were so many government initiatives that helped the economy. just you can imagine that introducing a golden visa kind of initiative helped UAE to build up a lot of reputation on that ground, that people were saying earlier that you are not able to live for a longer period of time in the UAE. You are not able to, let's say, call this place a home. The reason is only that you are always tied up with the visa. Now the visas are not only limited to, let's say, 2 years or 3 years or even 5 years. You can have visas for 30 years. And when you talk about Westerners, when they come here, basically they will have a certain amount of let's say salaries. If you talk about let's talk about first the professionals that are coming in. So for person, of course, they have a lot of things, and I can talk all day for the people who are coming as businessmen. The reason is that this country is so business friendly that I've seen people, because I'm from a background of let's say creativity, and people who are making creative stuff on YouTube and these things. So I've seen a lot of YouTubers coming here in UAE, and similarly there are a lot of entrepreneurs who are also making this country a home. But let's talk about first the working professionals. So there is a notion as well that I want to let's say I want to clear that up. People normally say that Dubai is only for the Westerners for the good salary. So there are a lot of nationalities coming here, and they of course, once they do the job, they get the salary. Earlier it used to be that once you are having a Western passport, or let's say a white skin, you can get a preferential treatment in terms of the salaries you're getting. But it's no more the case. Like it is somehow, because once you have the Western passport, you can easily move around. You can have liberty of let's say traveling. So
Travel.
if a
Yeah.
job is requiring some kind of traveling, you will be given a preference for sure. But in case let's say it's totally something which is related to technical, or let's say something related to management, and anybody can grow themselves up, and regardless of the nationality. So if you are let's say if you are fit enough, then for sure you can get any kind of job or any kind of income that you can eye for. So for Westerners, it's normally the case because they are coming from experience which can help growing a country like UAE. It is much possible that you get better salary. So if you get better salary, let's say if you currently, the threshold for golden visa is, let's say, if you are having 30,000 dirhams or more of salary here working in the UAE, you can easily get a golden visa, and not only you, your family will get the golden visa. Your let's say the even the parents get the golden visa. So this is a 10 years visa that you can get, and this is renewable as well. And let's say once
Mhm.
you get the golden visa, you stay on in this country. 10 years past, maybe at that time something else comes up, or there are other rules. But currently there are multiple rules that you can get the golden visa for yourself. This is one of them. Like income level is one of them. So as I
What
said,
about the
so
people who are not in UAE right now? How can they get golden visa?
so there are options that, as I said before, that golden visa is for most of the people that want to make UAE their home. So
Hmm.
there are options. First of all, of course, once you come here as an employee, and if you have 30,000 dirham salary, you will get the golden visa. You can apply for the golden visa if you want. Then if you are not in the UAE, you can invest 2 million dirhams as of now. There are certain people that would say that it's 1 million dirham, but I would say still 2 million dirham is the threshold to invest in the UAE properties to get the golden visa. There are talks as well, or I'm not sure if it's been implemented, that if you would be investing some kind of 2 million dirhams in some kind of securities, or let's say government bonds or these things, then also you will be eligible for the golden visa. But that I'm not sure about. And then there are streams. Let's say if you are a well-known influencer, if you are a well-known actor, if you're a well-known businessman, if you're a doctor, if you're coming as a doctor, even if it's less than 30,000 dirhams, you will be able to apply for the golden visa. And similarly, engineers as well. You have to prove a few things, and then you will be able to achieve the golden visa. So there are multiple streams. And also I've seen people coming here for nomad visas, because those are very popular nowadays with the different countries like Malaysia. like let's say even Indonesia and these countries, they are giving the nomad visas easily, and Dubai as well. If you are a let's say freelancer, or let's say if you are or if let's say you are doing some business which is online, and you prove that you have certain amount of income from that business, you can apply for the visa. Sometimes it will get you 5 years visa, sometimes it's 2 years, sometimes it's 10 years as well, like golden visa. So there are
Hmm.
multiple options. Of course, I'm not the expert on that, but there are a lot of options to get the visa. So visa is not something which is a deal breaker now. You can get the visa. You are independent as well. You don't have to worry about which company you're working for. Once you have a golden visa, you just need a work permit to work. It's not that you once you get the golden visa, you can live here, but you cannot work here. So for that, you need to either
Okay,
get the for that you
that's a
need to
good
get
point to
the.
clarify.
Just a quick break. If you want to start your journey with real estate investment in Dubai with a very small amount, as low as 500 dirhams, you can use my referral code in the description below for both the platforms of Smart Crowd and Get Sick. You can have fractional ownership of the properties that you invest in, and you get the rental return every month. I have portfolios with both the platforms. The link is in the description for the referral. Terms and condition apply. Now let's get back to the video.
Okay, so I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
for
yeah,
the audience, let me repeat that.
yeah.
So golden visa will allow you to stay in the country, but it will not allow you to work, right? So
Yes,
in order to
yes.
go to work, you have to get a work permit, which will be sponsored by an employer, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Either you get the work permit, either you get the business license,
Hmm.
or in some cases, as I said, some freelancers are working abroad and they want to just live in the UAE. So if you're earning from abroad, then it's fine as well.
Hmm.
So let's say if somebody is doing some Fiverr or Upwork kind of job or agency, he's running some kind of agency. I know some people that
Hmm.
they got that visa and they are living here now without doing any kind of business within the UAE, but still living here and getting their income from abroad. So that is also possible.
So let me ask you another question. So, for example, in my case, I am an employee here uh, at a company which is registered in Canada. Can I use that income to apply for a golden visa to live in Dubai?
I'm not 100% sure that normal in because otherwise, if that is the case, then every one from anywhere in the world can
Hmm.
get that visa. So I don't think so that is possible as of now. But proving your income as online income that is coming from freelance work, and you're doing some online kind of thing, then this is possible because then you're not tied up with that country.
Right.
I haven't seen people that getting that kind of visa, because then it is hard to prove that this is coming as an online income. But I
Hmm.
can see, let's say if you're working in Canada and working for a US company, let's say, and that company is paying you through some online means. I think it can be a workaround, but I'm
That
not
could be a
100% sure.
possibility. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Um, okay. So we talked about visas. So let's assume if somebody wants to move to Dubai. So what is the process? Do they have to find a job first, or do they have to go there on a visit visa, then look for the job in the local market? Like, what is the typical route?
Okay. So basically, there is a notion that people will come here and apply for the job on, let's say they come on a visit visa and then apply for the job and then they get the job, but it takes time. Like it takes
Mm.
normally some time. I mean, like anywhere else, it will take some time for you to get the job. But I would suggest for everybody to apply remotely, and that I have done myself as well because I've been here for 15 years. At that time, even I didn't come for the visit. I just got the offer while I was back home, and then I came here on my job directly. And still, a lot of people do like that. And if you have a good profile, again, we were discussing earlier as well. LinkedIn plays a huge role while getting recruited here in the UAE as well, like any other place. So you have to build
Mhm.
up your online presence. You have to build up your online brand, so that people or brands can, or let's say companies can reach out to you and get you hired. Coming on a visit visa is also a possibility. So there are two ways, of course, you can get the job here. One is that, of course, once you think about it, but then you have to forego your current job. Let's say if you don't have the luxury to just do work remotely, then you have to
Mhm.
resign from your job. You have to come here in the UAE spend 3 months applying for the job. If you have that kind of luxury, then it's fine. But if it's not, then you have to, let's say, apply for the jobs from there. And it's not that it's not possible. There are possibilities. I can even see right now people are getting hired from back home. But Dubai is a small, still, it's not a big city, or let's say, if it's not a big economy as you can say, let's say, US or even the UK. It's not as big as that. A lot
Mm.
of Westerners want to move to the UAE. Let aside a lot of South Asians who want to move to Dubai. So you can see the quantum. People from Pakistan, India, huge countries, and then people from, let's say, Canada. It's also a sizable country, and then UK, Australia. All the people want to, let's say, everyone want to come to the UAE because of various reasons that we have discussed, irrespective of job profile. So some people would be coming for the low paid job, some people would be coming for the high paid job, but the competition is very tough. So for that matter, you have to stand out.
Hmm.
One way to stand out is, of course, LinkedIn. Even if you're coming as a visitor and then apply for the job, still LinkedIn is very important. So for that, one needs to do so. Answering to your question shortly, yes, you can come as a visit, apply for the jobs here. If you're lucky, you can get into interviews and then you get hired. Otherwise, you can apply, keep on applying from, let's say, Canada or wherever you're placed, and then get a job offer. But I would highly suggest people to definitely visit the place once at least, and visit in summers, because a lot of Westerners would have trouble living in this country during summers, because summers are like in the ranges of
Too hard.
45 plus degrees centigrade
Mm.
Celsius. So although indoor environment, cars, entertainment venues, all of them are air conditioned, but I see people complaining. So that is the reason you must know the place before you land. Many people love it.
Mhm.
I know a lot of Westerners who love Dubai and they don't want to go back at all, but there are many people who complain as well. So they must be knowing what they are signing up for.
That's right. That's right. Um, okay, so let's assume, if somebody wanted to move, they got the job, they moved there. How about the cost of living, right? In terms
Uh,
of housing, in terms of transportation, and if somebody has, let's say, young kids, so
hmm,
what about schooling? What is the expense of that? And then health insurance is another thing, because if somebody coming from UK or Canada, they have state provided healthcare, right? So
hmm,
they have never thought about paying for healthcare here. So now
hmm,
if they move to Dubai, they will have to pay for the healthcare from their own pocket, right?
hmm.
So tell us about that, in terms of the overall ballpark figure, in terms of somebody has to keep in mind before they make the decision.
So it's a very broad topic to discuss. First of all, I think let's talk about salaries. What is the expectation of salaries that you should get? Um, uh, People sometimes make unrealistic expectations as well. Coming from, let's say, Western countries, and they think that they will be able to command a higher salary just because of that. It's not possible. So salaries, uh, it depends on your lifestyle as well. I've seen
Mm.
people from West working only on 15,000 dirhams, which is very low. In If you talk about Westerners, let's say, perspective, it's low. 15,000 dirhams would be around, let's say, I think, four
That's a
thousand
monthly
dollars.
salary, right?
Yes, monthly salary. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're talking about monthly salary. Always when we talk about UAE, it's going to be monthly salary. We don't talk about annual
Yeah.
unless it's specified.
Yeah,
So
typically in the West, people when people quote their salary,
yeah.
this it's normally annual.
Yeah. So whenever
Yeah.
people quote the salaries here, it's monthly and it's tax free. So whatever the salary is, it is going to be tax free. Now, I don't know how to put this up, because there are a lot of things that you've discussed. So salary, one thing which is varying from, let's say, I've seen Westerners working for 15,000 dirhams as well, and there are Westerners which are working for 150,000 dirhams as well. And then sky is the limit, as we say here in Dubai. So it's a huge array where you can fit in. But I would
Mm.
say anywhere between. So if somebody is 35 years old with a family, so salary is not only one thing that you get here. There are a lot of components to the salary as well. So sometimes the salary is a lump sum salary which is given to you as cash, and you don't get any other benefit, which is rare, by the way. But sometimes you get multiple benefits apart from your salary. So salary is, let's say, 35,000 dirhams or 40,000 dirhams, and then on top of that you will get health insurance for you and yourself and the family. And then you get visa cost as well, that is beared by the company itself for you and your family as well. And then there are, let's say, expenses like, as I said, healthcare already mentioned, and then yes, schooling. So there are companies which are paying for schooling. Let's say they will pay for a certain amount of cash upfront. They will pay, let's say, for 3 kids they will pay, for 2 kids they will pay, for directly to the school they will pay cash. So many permutation and combinations you can find school for schooling as well. And then there are benefits like getting you the return tickets for your home country once in a year. There was a funny story. I do normally this paid consultancy calls as well. There was someone who was resigning from Saudi, and he was going to Canada on his immigration. It was his first landing that he's gonna do, and he eventually got a job as well in Abu Dhabi, and that job was very well paid. So he was very much confused what to do, because he still had some time, like 3 years before he can move to Canada. So he was thinking what to do. He called me for that, and then I explained him the scenario, and he thought that okay, he will delay his Canada stint, or maybe he can go once and then come back and then pick the job in Abu Dhabi, and then after 3 years he
Mm.
will decide what to do. But during this whole negotiation, I just gave him one tip, and it saved him almost $15,000 just by one conversation. I told him to make your base as Canada. Once he makes his base as Canada, then the return tickets that he's gonna get from his company are going to be from Canada to, let's say, UAE. Otherwise, it would be Pakistan and like UAE. That
Mm.
made a difference of around $15,000 for the full family. So that is something you
Wow.
need to understand, how the quantum is and what kind of benefits that you can get. So this, as I said,
Mm.
the flights are also given to you. There are other benefits as well, like those are secondary benefits. Sometimes companies give remote working options completely.
Yeah.
So there are
Let me
multiple
ask
other
you.
benefits. Yeah.
Let me ask you a follow-up question. So all of these benefits, like flights and schooling and healthcare, I am assuming that these benefits are only given by a multinational company, not a local company or maybe a smaller startup kind of company, right?
Just a quick break. If you want to start your journey for investing in the US stock while staying in the UAE or the wider Gulf region, there are multiple apps that you can use. I use personally two of the reliable apps, which are Baraka and Sarva. These two apps have been phenomenal for me. I've been using these for the last couple of years. If you want to use the referral code, and if you haven't got the account yet, then you can get $25 or $50 depending on which app and depending on the terms and condition. The link is in the description below. If you use that referral code, you will get the referral bonus. Terms and condition apply. Now let's get back to the video. For the startups, of course, they normally tend to give equities rather than these kind of benefits. So startups
Okay.
is something different. But for
Mm.
local group, if it's a big group like MR, or let's say, and now MR is a multinational, by the way, but let's say there are other big groups as well, which can give you this kind of benefit for a specific kind of, let's say,
Mm.
position. But multinationals also, but now, as I said, this is becoming competitive now. So not all multinationals are giving these benefits as well. So you need to understand the contract. You need to negotiate these things before coming in.
Mm.
You need to understand the cost of living as well. As you asked for the cost of living, we'll reflect that. But these are the things that you need to understand, that there are so many ifs and buts once it comes to getting a job in Dubai, and then negotiating that salary, negotiating the perks, because the perks sometimes are more than the salary itself. Perks
Mhm.
become, you can be enjoying the tax free let's say a westerner, being a westerner, you can enjoy your life here as getting free, services as free, like you get here, there in West, except for the fact that the quality of service is much 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 better. So I hear a lot of people complaining about medical services in Canada, even in the UK, but Canada is worse, I believe. But people coming here from those Western countries, or people who are moving away from Dubai to those Western countries, they tell the stark difference between the services that you get for the let's say, for the hospitalization and these things. Of course, it is paid. the services that you get here in the UAE is,
Yeah.
let's say, is coming through insurance, but that insurance is mostly covering you by your company, so you're not paying for that. So, but insurance is expensive,
Okay.
but I believe
Mm.
it's not as expensive as somebody's paying in the US.
I
So,
I
yeah.
I think it's similar to the US, right? So in the US, the healthcare is not free, but you have to uh, get this insurance from your employer. Typical, pretty much all the employers are actually giving you the health insurance included as part of your package. So I think it's similar in the UAE as well, right? So when you get the job, your employer will actually make sure that you have healthcare as part of your package.
Yes, yes,
It's a,
but there is a
yeah.
the caveat is that there are two things. One is that whatever I have heard about US, people have been telling me the rates for the insurance, it is higher than the UAE. That I can say for sure. If you are paying out
Okay.
of your own pocket. The second
Yeah.
thing is that you have to again negotiate your benefits, perks, because insurance here as well, medical insurance here as well, comes with so many tiers. So if you want to go for a better hospital or a luxurious hospital, I would say, because there are hospitals which will beat five-star hotels anytime. So if you want to go for that kind of service, then of course you
Mm,
need to negotiate, and then you also have to fight for your let's say coverage, what kind of coverage you are getting, and then
right.
also for the family members. Not all the companies are providing the healthcare insurance for the family members, so for that, everything that this all scenarios needs to be taken into consideration.
Yeah, and in the US, actually, you have to pay some portion of your monthly premium from your own pocket. So the employer will actually, let's say, cover the 80% of the overall premium that you pay monthly, but the remaining 20% you have to cover yourself.
So
So,
for
and
that,
then,
yeah, I
yeah,
understand. So for that, I would just tell you that there are packages again within the insurance. So some of the
okay,
insurance will get you pay for the, let's say, if I go for a consultancy with a specialist, and by the way, you will
mm,
go to the specialist directly. So if I feel that okay, I have a let's say I've got an accident during playing badminton, and I want to go directly to the orthopedic, I can go directly to the orthopedic. He can directly recommend me X-rays or let's say MRIs or whatever. MRI can be. I've known someone in Canada. They got the MRI done within let's say in 6 months, and even
yeah,
that was not possible after that.
that's a
Yeah,
typical wait time. Yeah.
MRI, you can go directly to the orthopedic. He can apply for the insurance approval. It can come
Mm-hmm.
within a day, and then you can go for the MRI maybe the second day. So it is
Mm-hmm.
so fast. So but then again, you have to think about so many other factors before going for the insurance.
Yeah. That reminds me. One of the difference between UK and Canada I noticed was in UK it's still the state provided healthcare, but if you have private insurance from your employer, you can actually go privately. So in UK you have two tier system. So you have a government provided healthcare, then you have a private healthcare layer as well, and you can go there by paying yourself, or if you have private insurance from your employer, you can also go there. So if you have luckily if you have private insurance, you can immediately go and see the consultant or
Okay.
radiologist or anybody who you can go privately. If you go through the system, government system, you can take 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, who knows, right?
Hmm.
In Canada, it's just
There
one
is no
tier.
option.
There is
Hmm.
no option. Even if you have private medical insurance, it's useless.
Hmm.
You have to go through the same system.
Mhm. Right. And then,
Yeah.
as you mentioned about the co-payment, because that is called as co-payment, but that co-payment again depend on insurance to insurance. Sometimes the companies are providing you such a great package that you don't need to pay anything. But I believe that kind of luxury is not beneficial for the system as well, and people will waste a lot of
Mm,
resources from that. So nowadays, I can see a lot of companies are introducing co-payment, but that co-payment is also not that much, because just to give you an idea, so if I want to go for the orthopedic to see him, I will pay, let's say, 20% at max to the hospital for the fee of the doctor. So once I get to the doctor, let's say if the fee of that doctor is 500 dirhams, I will be paying, let's say, 100 dirhams, but that also is capped at 30 dirhams. So whatever the percentage is, I will be
mm,
paying only 30 dirhams to see that doctor.
right.
And after that, all the let's say all the tests that are being done are free. I won't be paying any co-payment on that. But the
Okay.
medicines, Sometimes they will charge you 10%, sometimes they will charge you 20%, sometimes it's free. So it all depends on the insurance type.
Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, definitely there is a big difference of healthcare, and especially if you have kids, young kids, then of
Yes.
course that will cost you a little bit extra.
Hmm.
Um, so if we compare the overall cost of living, so how housing is a major expense.
Hmm.
Then you have to bear your let's say, assuming you don't get from your employer, so you have to bear the healthcare expense as well as the schooling. So on average, I know it's a very hypothetical question, but on average, if someone is coming with two kids, two husband wife, um, how much they have to keep in mind in terms of the fixed cost that they have to bear, regardless what kind of job they get.
Yeah. So I would say the three major costs, if or the fixed cost that they can incur here in the UAE are housing, schooling, and medical insurance. So these are the three
Mm.
major costs that they will come to bear. Let's assume that they will not get anything from their employer. By the way, housing also gets paid by the employer sometime. So
Mm.
and I'll tell you a very interesting story about Behrouz, our common friend who came on our podcast on specifically this topic, and he told why he was unable to save a lot of money while he was having a very high amount of salary at that time. But anyways, that will come later on. But
Mm.
for these three components, housing, education for the kids, and then the medical insurance. So let's talk about medical insurance first. And again, it depends on a lot of factors. Some people, the kind of insurance for 4,000 dirhams per year is not at all acceptable, and some people 8,000 dirhams per year insurance is not acceptable. Sometimes they need 20,000 dirhams per year insurance. So it is all, let's say,
Subjective. Yeah.
subjective to people. But let's say, if we talk, because there are insurance costs associated with especially your wife, because I have seen insurance premium varying from kids to adults. So kids insurance is not expensive, but if you talk about adults, female insurance is expensive than you, let's say, yourself.
Hmm.
So if we talk about on average, a kids insurance can be 4,000 dirhams, 3,000 dirhams per year, and then adults male insurance can be around, let's say, 5,000 dirhams per year, and then female can be 6,000 dirhams per year. But then again, the quantum can be higher if you want to include many other factors. So for a family of, let's say, four, you can be expecting to pay 20, anywhere between 20 to 25,000 dirhams
Per
per
year.
per year. And to make things clear, a US dollar is, let's say, 3.67 dirhams, and
Hmm.
a Canadian dollar, I'm not sure if it's currently 2.8 or something like that, um, dirhams per Canadian
Mm.
dollar, something like that. I'm not sure. But for
Okay.
US dollar, it's always pegged. So there is another thing.
This
Um,
is the
uh,
major point I wanted to bring it up.
yes,
So,
yes. So let me
but
finish
carry
this
on.
first
Yeah.
about the costing. So this is about the medical, and then about the schooling. So schooling is actually insane here. So you can send your kid to somewhere which is 6,000 dirhams per year of a school, and there are schools which are 120,000 dirhams per year as well. So it's crazy kind of disparity between the schooling.
It's a big range from
Yes, it's
6,000
a
to
big range,
120,000.
and this is good thing as well,
Mm.
because I have seen people in Saudi. They talk about expensive school there, and they talk about very cheap schools there. They have very little option in between that. But in
Mm.
Dubai, I can see a lot of variation in between that. So you can get a very cheap school, and you can get very high expensive schools as well. And the difference between them, of course, is kind of teachers as well, and then the facilities they offer. But the basic facilities will always be there. Like your kid will not be deprived of, let's say, air conditioning, which is very important here. So that is something
Mm.
which is important. So basic facilities will be there even in the cheapest school. And the other associated expense is about the transportation. So once you send your kids to school, uh, they will be definitely needing transport to go. Either you can have your own car, your wife can drive, or you can drive to school for them, or you can get the buses. And the buses are not free. so they will come at a cost as well. So sometimes,
Mm.
especially in Dubai, because they have got specialized buses for the schools, and they are very highly, let's say, integrated with different kind of
Cool.
equipments
Mm.
like GPS. Like they have got nannies as well in the bus on board,
Okay.
and there are so many things, so the cost increases. So the cost of bus in Dubai per year for one kid can reach up to 10,000 dirhams sometimes,
Really?
and
It's
from
even more
7,000,
than
6,000
the
dirhams to
school fees.
10,000 dirhams. Yes, yes,
Wow. Okay.
it is expensive. And to just let you know, sometimes when the companies are paying you for the education, they might or might not pay for the buses.
Okay.
So that needs to be taken into consideration, that must be
Mhm.
written in your contract once you're
Okay.
signing in. Sometimes they are paying you cash against whatever your eligibility is and how many kids you have. They will pay you just the cash, so you have to arrange in that.
So when
Sometimes
you
they will pay the school directly, and they will not pay
okay,
the school bus, so it
so when
is
you say
something.
they pay cash, is it like a lump sum cash they pay at the beginning of the contract, or they pay
Yes.
monthly,
No, no, they pay yearly, because
yearly? Okay.
here the school fee are normally paid quarterly. I think sometimes they can pay yearly, sometimes they pay quarterly, sometimes
Mm.
they just reimburse you on the first day of the year. It depends on the company. Sometimes they
Okay.
pay on the invoice, they will just
Mm.
reimburse you the amount. So
Okay.
it depends on company to company. Then comes the question about so schooling is it's a huge array. You can send the kids to
Mm.
different, so all kind of curriculums are available: British curriculum, American curriculum,
Okay.
Indian curriculum, even Pakistani curriculum. Every kind of curriculum is available.
So if we talk about the average,
Hmm.
like not very high end, not very low end, an average schooling fee. So let's say if it's varying between 6,000 and 120,000. So shall we assume it's going to be around 30-40,000 a year?
Yes, I would say that, and I would definitely tell you one more thing, one very interesting thing here. I was talking to Behruz about this as well. Sometimes people get, let's say, high amount of cash for the school, and they always think that, okay, we are getting this budget of 40,000 dirhams for our kids, so we should send at least to that kind of school, or at least, let's say, send it to 45,000 dirhams, not coming back to 35,000 dirhams. The
Mm.
flip side of that is, because you're sending the kids to a school which is expensive, and you might not be able to afford it otherwise, because just because your company is paying you, that is why you're sending the kids there. The
Mm.
kids coming to that school are also of that kind of social strata. So I've seen this personally. Back in 2017, when we visited as a family to the UK, it costed us around 35,000 dirhams. It was cheap at that time. I think if we go now, it will be at least 70,000 dirhams for a 2 week trip. And during this that same year, my son, who was studying here in one of the expensive school, they were going for a trip to Spain, and he was at that time, I think, in class 5 or 6, something like that. They were going to a trip to Spain, single person. That was costing me 20,000 dirhams. I didn't send my kid to that trip, but the full family's trip to UK for 35,000 dirhams, and a single child going to
Yeah,
Spain
kid.
for a week
Yeah.
only was 20,000 dirhams.
Wow.
So that is something you come across while you are sending the kids to expensive schools that you cannot
So
afford.
yeah, so
So
there are
that needs to
other
be taken
activities
care
as
of.
well that you have to keep in mind.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
Okay.
so schooling is like that. Yes. So you're saying 30,000. I would definitely keep aside 30,000 dirhams per year, because there are other expenses
Yeah.
as well.
And
And
that's
then
that's per
bus,
child, right? So
that's per
if you have,
child. Yes,
let's say, two or three kids, then yeah, you're talking about 60 grand,
yes.
60,000 dirhams. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. And then as you go up, your children go up the stage.
Mm.
The fee also increases. So just to give you an example, a school can cost you 20,000 dirhams for, let's say, class one, and the same
Mm.
school will cost you 35,000 dirhams for grade 12.
As they grow up.
So
Okay.
as they grow up, so
Mm.
that cost will increase for sure.
Okay.
So these kind of things you need to keep under consideration. Now let's talk about the housing. So again, this is subjective. So
Mm.
housing can vary from, let's say, for a studio it can cost you around 35,000 dirhams in Dubai for a year, and it can go up to even 90,000 dirhams, even 100,000, let's say, yeah, 100,000 dirhams per year as well. At the same time, you can get in the vicinity, let's say, if you have the luxury not to go to office all the time, let's say 9 to 5, you don't have to the compulsion of going to the office 9 to 5, or
Mm,
let's say you don't have to go to the office at exactly 9 o'clock. Then you can do some kind of timing adjustment, and then you can also live in the places which are cheaper. So Sharjah is one of the popular destination for even some of the Western expat. Not many Western
mm.
expat live in Sharjah, but many of the South Asian community live in Sharjah. So that brings you cheaper rent. So the rent estimates can be, so if you're having a family of two, you will at least need a two-bedroom or three-bedroom apartment or a villa. So for a rental perspective, it can come to you at the cost of around 70 to 80,000, somewhere upward from 70 to 80,000 dirhams. So that
Okay,
should
and
be a
that's per
ballpark
year
figure
as well.
per
Yeah.
year, yes. And then there are associated expenses from once you start renting it out. You will be needing, of course, electricity, water, and these things. But what I've
Mhm.
seen is it's not that expensive. The utilities are not that expensive that we can see uh, in the Western world. It's not
So
that
on average,
expensive.
let's say per year basis, is it 10,000 dirhams?
For the utilities,
Yeah.
now it depends on the apartment that you're taking, because there are some energy
Let's say it's a
efficient
two
buildings.
bedroom apartment.
Two-bedroom
Um,
apartment, you're so in Dubai, there's a authority called as DEWA, which is Dubai Electricity Water Authority. So what I've seen in on average, the bills of two-bedroom apartment can vary from uh, 300 to 400 dirhams up to 1,000 dirhams. This is because once you go into summer months, it will be expensive
of course, it will
because
go
of,
up.
of the
Yeah.
air conditioning, and then it's lower on the winter side. So yes,
And that's on
12,000 dirhams.
monthly basis, right?
This is on monthly basis. Yes, this is on
Okay.
monthly basis, and then you convert it on the yearly. It will be around 12,000 dirhams. If you add
Yeah.
internet as well, because I use very cheap internet because I don't need any TV or something. So I pay around 300 dirhams for internet,
Mm,
for 350 dirhams, I think, for internet for a month. And
mm.
then on top of that, you will add, let's say, the all other utilities, including
Cell
gas,
plan.
including
Yeah.
electricity and water. Then it will be around, so average, yes, 12,000 dirhams a
Yeah.
year for a two
Let's
bedroom.
let's
Yes,
add internet. So I think it's gonna be around 15,000 dirhams per year.
yes, 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 yes,
Okay.
yes. It will be like
Yeah.
that. But again, it can go up to anything. Like if you
Yeah.
have a big villa, it will cost
Yeah.
you a
Yeah.
lot.
We're just
Even for
talking
the,
very
yeah,
conservative figures. So
yes,
for a family of four, two-bedroom house, apartment, this is
yes,
how it's
yes,
going to cost on average. Of course,
yes,
if you have family of, let's say, five or six, you're renting a villa, then of course that cost will go up significantly.
yes, yes.
Okay, sounds good. So what do you suggest to all the Westerners? Because there are a lot of pros and cons, right? So people who are sick in terms of paying a lot of taxes in the UK, in US, or in Canada, they think Dubai could be a better position, location for them, where it's a tax-free income. But there's a lot of other problems in Dubai in terms of higher schooling fee, higher medical insurance, then of course the higher cost of living, and then of course the weather as well, right? What do you suggest to those people? Because a lot of people I talk to, they have never been to Dubai, but they
Hmm,
think Dubai is going to be a much better place from UK or Canada or US.
hmm.
It depends upon what kind of job they get. So, what do you suggest? What should be their view whenever they think about making the decision?
So while you were talking, I just remembered one of the calls again on a consultancy call I was on, and there was a Westerner, but the family was Westerner, but of course they had a route back home in India and also in Iran, because his wife was from Iran, and they didn't have by choice the kids. So I told them that if you don't have kids, there is no brainer that you should come to Dubai. I mean, there is
Mm,
no second thoughts for myself. If you don't have any
yeah.
kids, you don't have any cost associated, which is expensive. Like you
Mm,
just can. have a studio, and you can live your life of lifetime. You will not regret coming here if you don't have
Mm.
kids, because then there is no cost associated, even if you have like limited income. But with a family, if you have if you start to get some offers and you have to test waters, then you need to understand all the cost before coming here.
Yeah.
For sure you need to understand weather, because for weather you cannot just imagine what is going on unless you come here. But for all the other things, you can make calculated guess, and you can make some judgments based
Mhm.
on the calculations that I've just told. So a
Right.
westerner, let's say if he's getting, I know for a person who was getting 17,000 dirhams per month salary here in the UAE, and went to
Which is very
110,
low end.
which is a not which is not very very good,
Yeah.
assuming it's not a very good salary. But he didn't have the kids at that time. He only had one daughter who was not
Mm.
going to school. But even if she goes to school, one or two kids, 17,000 dirhams is still manageable. People do live here. Even 10,000
Mm.
dirham. I've seen people with four kids living in 10,000 dirhams, and the kids are going to school as well. So it's not
Mhm.
that it's not manageable. I know it's going to be difficult, very difficult, but it is manageable. Anyways, that person who was earning 17,000 dirhams, single income household, he went to Canada. He's having around 110,000 dirhams dollars of salary right now in Canada, and he's not able to make his ends meet right now.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, he's not able to make. I can tell
Mm.
you, this guy was trying to different side hustles, including driving an Uber over the weekend. But
Wow.
he was not. The reason was that, so it was a single income home household,
Mm.
and the other reason was that he had to support his family back home as well. So if you take that thing into consideration, Dubai is very good, because then you will get all the salaries tax free. Because 17,000 dirham and 110,000 Canadian dollars, it's the same after tax. By the way,
Mm.
$110,000, how much
Yeah.
tax would he be paying? He would be paying, I think, at least 35% or more.
I think 35,000, yes.
Yes,
35% tax you must be paying, yeah.
yes. So
Mm.
it is coming to be, let's calculate it right now. So
Mm.
110 would be minus around 40. So it would be coming around 70,000 after tax. So it's
Mm.
around $5,800 that he's getting.
Per
So
month,
if you
yeah.
multiply that with, I don't know what is the rate for Canadian to
I
dirham,
think it's around 2.7.
2.7. Okay,
Yeah.
2.7. It's 15,700 dirhams that he's
Which is
getting,
equal, yeah.
which is
Okay.
less than what he's getting here in the UAE. So if
Mm.
that taken into consideration, that he was getting a medical insurance for his family as well, regardless of the fact that his kids were not going to the school at that time,
Mm.
and the housing is expensive in Toronto.
Of
He
course.
told me that he had to move to suburbs, out of GTA, just
Mm.
to make sure that he doesn't have to be broke by living in GTA. So
Yeah,
17,000 dirhams
I
is
can
more
I
than
can
what
tell you.
somebody is making, 110,000 dirhams, a single income household.
And you know what? 110,000 is a decent salary here.
Yes,
It's not low
yes,
end.
yes,
An average salary in Canada is around 75,000 per year. So you
yes,
can imagine, if
yes,
somebody has to survive in GTA, in Greater Toronto area, how difficult it is for someone on a salary with $75,000 dollar per year. So for that kind of a case, both parents have to work together. You know,
yes,
if they both bring full time job and they bring 70,000 each, then of course they can sustain themselves in GTA. But otherwise, for a single earner for 70,000, it's nearly impossible.
yes, yes. So it is all again subjective. So many numbers need to play in before you
Mm,
make the decision. But as I mentioned to you, somebody who was getting healthcare from the company, and he was making 17,000 dirhams. Once he go to let's say Canada, and that's why. By the way, I know some Westerners, white skin, they
mm,
they work in hospitality industry for less amount of money. It's not that everybody is getting 35,000, 40,000 dirhams of salary, even if it's a Westerner. They were
mm,
getting 15,000 dirham. I know some of them personally. And then when I talk to this in the Desi community, they don't understand that. They think every
mm.
Westerner will be getting huge amount of salary. They are working there because they
It,
are
it
alone.
depends upon the type of job as well, right?
Yeah,
So
plus, yeah, depends on the type of job, and
mm,
then depend on the circumstances as well. That guy who's working as a Westerner without the family. So if you're
Mm,
working without the family, it's fine. I mean, you're getting
yeah,
equivalent to 110,000 or even equivalent to 150,000 dollars of Canadian,
that's right.
working here for, let's say,
Which
tax
is a
free.
much decent salary here in
Yes,
Canada.
yes. So so many things need to be under consideration while
Yeah. Mhm.
you're taking this kind of decision.
Okay. So thank you very Wali. It's a very interesting conversation. I think the audience must have got some understanding in terms of the living, the cost of living, the weather. What are the challenges that you have to face? The pros and cons between both countries. Like if you're living in the West, Canada, US, or UK, or you want to move to Dubai. I think there's a lot of things that you have to consider before you can make a decision. But I think for this high level conversation will help you to make an educated decision. Of course, you have to visit Dubai first before you can make any decision, because weather is a very different beast here. So somebody has to feel that weather in the summer before you can really decide for yourself whether you can live here or not. So thanks a lot, Wally. Any last comment before we wrap up?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long topic, and I can go on whenever somebody is triggering me. I can go on for all my life. Just to give you an example as well, the car insurance, I was told from the same person. He told me that whatever car insurance he was paying here for full year in
Oh man.
Canada, it was for one
I
month
I
only.
have experienced that when I was moving from UK. So
Hmm.
the insurance, the car insurance that I'm paying here on a monthly basis, that was
Yes,
my entire year worth of
yes.
insurance
I mean, that
in
is
the UK.
crazy. That is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, car
So,
insurance is a different topic, for the video anyway.
yeah.
Um, and besides that, we are seeing a huge amount of car thefts across
Hmm.
across Toronto. So
I think
that's
that is
another
one
thing.
of the reason, apart from the weather, that is one of the reason that it's on the higher side, the theft
Yeah,
and the problems
it
like
is.
that. Here in the UAE, so there is one major thing that we haven't discussed: the security and safety. It's commendable. You cannot
Hmm.
find such kind of place. I think on the place of, I mean, on the face of the earth, you cannot find
Yeah,
this kind of place. I don't lock my doors of my apartment. I don't have to.
yeah.
Nobody. I can keep my laptop in the full public view in the car. Nobody will
We cannot do this
just
in Toronto
nobody.
for
You will
sure.
not lose it. Yes, yes. So
Yeah,
this is kind
even
of
in the
security
UK
that
as
we have.
well. I had an incident in the UK when I was there. So we left our laptop back in the car. We just went into the restaurant to have some lunch. Came back, the
Windows
window
broken.
was smashed and the door and the bag was
Yeah,
stolen already.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not like that. Yes.
Yeah, I think the last thing before we wrap up is the currency pact. So a lot of
Hmm.
people, they don't know that Dubai currency dirham is hard packed against US dollar.
Hmm.
So there is literally no risk in terms of the currency devaluation. If you bring your capital in Dubai along with you,
Hmm.
you will be rest assured that you will be paying equivalent to amount of US dollar. So that's
Yes.
a very kind of a good assurance in terms of moving capital. A lot of people, they don't move capital because they fear that the currency will devalue at some point and we will lose the purchasing power. But in Dubai, I think that's a no brainer.
Yeah. 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 You're right. You're right.
Okay, Wali, thanks a lot. Hopefully, we'll do more podcasts like this in
For
the
sure.
future. So until next time, thank you.
See you then.